Good evening everyone, welcome to FGM eCars for your Wednesday night, and it is ANZCAR Thunder Series night here on the channel. Just waiting for Carl with you to join us, and he will be shortly, but until then we are here in practice for round 6 of the, in fact I think it's round 7 we're on to now for the series, so that is what confronts us tonight as we are just getting through practice here before we get into qualifying. It's going to be an interesting race tonight. We're at Homestead, so the drivers will be pitting themselves up against this track to see if they can get it done. We've had some really close results here of late as well. And as I say that, Carl with you does join me. Good evening, Carl.
Good evening, Stuart. Good evening, everybody. I had not noticed that things had started. So, yes, we are here at Miami at Homestead, a speedway that is a little bit tricky sometimes. She is a bit of a track that can catch you out, and expect tonight to see a few drivers trying to hang it out there for a bit longer maybe, and see if they can make it a bit longer. It's not the cruelest place on tyres, but if the caution flag goes, then I think we'll see a lot of cars darting into pit lane, of course.
Trev Micklemore, never a spectator to miss a beat here, relying him for stream updates and a whole heap of other things. He's just noticed a really interesting thing before I even got to it. We've got a purple Mitch Motorsport entry here, so I just popped up on screen there. It's unusual to see Jason Martin running in the Xfinity series as well, so look out to the rest of the field.
Well, that's it. I mean, the 21 has got nothing else to do tomorrow night, so I think it's just having a bit of a stretch of the legs and just getting something out there for the week. And you know, if Jason doesn't get a winner week, then he's like a shark. He'll just pass out.
See, Carl, you are more than just a pretty face, of course, with the Cup not being on tomorrow, the Chase in its week off. So just wanted to keep his hand at it, no doubt. So we've got a a typically strong field here tonight. 30 cars running out on track, and a new face or two as well, which is very welcome into the series. But plenty of the strong drivers that we would expect to see here, Carl. We've got 20 seconds to go. Do you want to quickly, if you've got it there, as usual, just give us a rundown of championship standings?
I could absolutely do that if I had it up on the screen. It would be very useful, and I'll make sure to do that as I'm talking away, clicking furiously to get that up on the screen, as is my usual tradition. Chatting away as I do that, of course. We were at the Charlotte Roval last time, and standings-wise, that is Maddie Raymond still in the lead with a 15-point gap over Hamish Gallagher in second. 17 points down in third is Josh Micklemore. Brenton West in fourth, 24 points down. Fifth place is Foster, 42 points off the lead. Sixth is Wellman, 52 points down. 53 points down is Stephen Williams in seventh. Eighth is JCW, Joshua Carroll-Walden, 54 points down. Ninth is Dave Douglas, 58 off the lead. And 10th is Maddie Hunter, 67 off the lead. So Maddie Raymond coming in with a 15-point advantage tonight, and he's going to hope to try and keep that one there.
So let's, as you mentioned it, JCW did pop up on screen. Let's stick with him tonight for a lap around this track. So we're going to ride on the roof of the AJ Insurance Services sponsored Atari Autosport entry of Joshua Carroll-Walden. He's just about to come around and complete his outlet, and we'll take it away for a lap around Homestead.
Yeah, so coming into the first corner here, it's a very low grip surface, so you don't really get much feedback in the car. You generally want to try and keep a slightly higher line here rather than taking that really low line, just because it will give you a little bit more speed out of the corner. So you just got to be careful of the wall on the exit. Nice exit there by JCW, the 35, getting a good exit there onto the back straight. Getting into turns 3 and 4 right here. Getting mid-liner right now to get a little bit of pace advantage. In the race, you'll see them sitting at a slightly higher line, just because that's going to burn the front tyres off a little bit. Gets across the line, jumps up into P2 at the moment. Second car to qualify, so not too hard to do, but I'm sure we'll see a lot more coming through soon. Not a bad lap from JCW, but he will want to go a little bit better. He's going to try for this second lap, see if he can get any more speed with this one. But it is tricky here at Homestead, as I say. It's one of those tracks that can really catch you out because it doesn't give you the feedback like some of the other surfaces. It's a little bit like a billiards table. It's quite a smooth track surface. The asphalt here is quite smooth, and you can find the car just can catch you out a little bit. So JCW crosses the line and does do better. He gets up to P1.
Yeah, and Schultz will be a bit frustrated by that. He jumped up into P1 himself. Now Lachlan Urquio has jumped up into P1, so it's going to be nice and tight at the top of the field here. Gary Wellman as well. A few new names up towards the front here, but Hamish Gallagher, it's a little bit of normalcy back into it with a 33.37, so he is now provisionally on pole, but we've got a fair number of the field still to run here. Of course, the session itself still got just over 2.5 minutes to go. So we've got the likes of Josh Micklemore, who hasn't run yet, Mickey Skurlock yet to chuck in a qualifying lap, Dave Douglas, Matty Ray, who may not qualify at all, of course, but there's a few still to run.
Yeah, I was just noticed Dave Douglas out on the track at the moment, so Double D is out there trying to set a decent lap time as it stands in the Rowdy Energy car, and seeing if he can get there and get a decent starting spot for tonight. Keeping my eye out on Matty Ray, because I'd be interested to see if he actually does decide to come out for a qualifying lap. I think he's going to stick it in, do his usual thing and stick it in the pit lane and wait until the race to work his magic. So Dave Douglas getting across the line, and he is down in 19th. Josh Micklemore jumping up to P4, getting a good lap. Mickey Skurlock out there now trying to set his lap time as well, seeing what he can do tonight. So what will we see from Michael Skurlock?
A win in the trucks on Monday night as well, so in good form. Also, Aidan Schultz will be looking to try and maybe notch up a W tonight. He's had some strong runs of late as well, so plenty of drivers in good form. Michael Skurlock just approaching halfway through this flying lap.
Yeah, second lap is definitely the faster lap here tonight. Just keeping an eye on those times, and it does look like that second one is the one that gets the speed in it, so watch out for Jason Martin and Michael Skurlock right here coming across the line. See what they can do. Michael Skurlock just about to cross the line now. He jumps up into P12. So not getting the lap that he wants. And Jason Martin jumping up to P3. So, P4, Jason Martin. So Martin manages to get the best out of it, but it looks like the track started to struggle a little bit towards the end, and drivers weren't getting the speed they wanted to. Matty Hunter just there setting his lap, seeing what he can do as well, and trying to get another good result. Been a solid couple of runs for Matt Hunter recently, well inside the top 10, so that is really, really good for the Vision Motorsport entry in the 48. And of course, one of the ANZCAR admins as well, so nice to see Matty Hunter having a good run.
Yeah, absolutely. Another driver has had a couple of really good performances of late. So there's lots of reasons for these drivers to think tonight that anyone could take this out, of course. But that does conclude our qualifying session here. Let's bring the grid up on screen and have a look at it. So it is Hamish Gallagher taking pole position. Stevie Dubb up next to him on P2. Then it's going to be Wellman and Martin, followed by Mickelmore and Urquio. Then we've got JCW and Aidan Schultz, followed by Cade Donnelly and Dave Douglas. Then it's Thomas Martin and Scott Griffiths as we head over the page. Michael Skurlock and Brenton West down on row 7 with Dortnack and Davison off 8. Then it's Georgeson and Martin off 9. Tristan Cock and Christopher Finlay off 10 with Noddy Tompkins and Peter Wilkinson off 11. Matty Hunter off 12 with Norm Clark keeping him company. And then it is Jamie Nankervis with Matty Ray, Tim Court. We've got Nathan Rawlock, Mitchell West, and Mick Taylor rounding out the 30 starters for tonight's race.
As you said, a few new faces to ovals as well. I'm just looking out there. Nice to see a few of the locked on boys out there tonight, and they're going to be trying to get a good result. Of course, got Peter Wilkinson, Braden Martin, I'm pretty sure I saw out there as well, up there in the 090, and Tim Corn as well. So Timmy Bucket's out there in the 116. So 3 of the locked-on cars, they're starting to breed like bacteria at the moment in the series, which is good. We want to see them guys coming in. But they have been excited about this for one of their first oval races together. So they're going to hope for a strong result tonight. And we'll see how this one goes.
I had not noticed until now that Hamish Gallagher's pitboard has a picture of Taylor Swift on the back of it. Just on screen there with a little love heart that absolutely shows the dedication of the man to the cause.
I mean, how else do you lure Hamish Gallagher into a pit box? By putting a picture of Tay-Tay out there, that's going to, it's just Hamish bait.
Oh, dear me. At least he will be able to see it. Of course, it could be distracting to a number of the other drivers, but nonetheless, as they file out of pit lane here in the briskness of the evening, they're going to head out on a warm-up. Well, how good is that with the SRM boys? They won't be like where they're starting, or maybe they will, but just filing out in a line there, looking very, very impressive. There's that Timmy down that low exit.
All relatively close together, which is good for them, and that could be useful for the 4 SRM cars. Noddy Tompkins just ahead. He's just ahead of the rest of the boys, Nathan Roller, Matty Raymond, and Mick Taylor. So they've got a relatively good position at the moment. They can work together and just slowly work their way through the field, and they have got a maestro of working their way through the field in the team. So not a bad position, so to say, for those drivers.
Not at all. So we're going to get this one underway. It is round 8 of the Thunder Series Season 2 2021 on FGM eCast. It is the ANZCAR Thunder Series, and we go green, and it is Hamish Gallagher who's going to get us away from P1. He gets a ripping start. Steve Williams tries to go with him. Gary Wellman under pressure already from Jameson Martin on the outside, with Josh Mickelmore and Lachlan Urquio all getting away to a good start. Our top 6. Hayden Schultz jumps to position over Joshua Carroll Walden up into 7 already, with Dave Douglas doing the same over Kay Donnelly as Urquio now gets past Josh Mickelmore. Mickelmore still down on the inside here, looking to defend that position. He's lucky he's got his teammate in front of him. Will Jason Martin try and help just box Urquio? It's a little early for that type of caper, but he may well here just help him out a little bit if he can, as we get this one underway.
Yeah, you're going to want to try and get up on the high line as soon as possible. Sitting down on that low line is just going to start frying that tyre up on the inside, and you've got to be careful of that one. So you just got to watch out a little bit. That's why the drivers tend to keep the high line. So at the moment, Josh Micklemore's in a bit of a bad position where he was sitting, because he was very much sat on that bottom line with JCW behind him. So they get caught out a little bit. Aiden Schultz just getting a little bit squirrely mid-corner, manages to save the car, but just gets in front of Dave Douglas, just checks up the back of the pack a little bit. But so far, everybody keeping the car pointing in the right direction. Not the easiest thing to do here at Homestead.
So what are the pitfalls for the track here tonight, Carl? It's I think only the second time I broadcast from here, so and my memory is not that strong.
Well, as I said, it's a very slick surface. It's one of those tracks that's you tend to get a lot of the car tends to be very, very tight here, so very much an understeery sort of track. So you have to really ease off the accelerator going into the corner, and you have to be really careful getting back on it as well. I was just watching Kate Donnelly just got very loose out the corner as he put his foot back on the accelerator. It's very easy to lose the rear of the car at a place like this, and as I said, because it's such a smooth surface, you don't tend to get a huge amount of tyre wear, but that also means the tyres take a little bit longer to get up to temperature, and you do tend to have the car handling a bit like a ship as it goes into the corner. You just have to turn the wheel and just hope that it follows suit.
Rips up.
That's it. You just got to watch out for those icebergs when you're out there, because you never know when one of them's going to jump out in front of you, and if that happens, you can be in some serious trouble.
Of course. JCW here has Aiden Schultz close back on him. Schultz has dropped Douglas off at the train station, so he is now ahead of our second train of cars. But Schultz closes up on JCW, who's in this lead pack now, with Hamish Gallagher's checked out at the front. There's a little bit of a gap between Williams and Wellman as well, so it is Wellman, Martin, Urquio, Micklemore, Carroll Walden and Schultz in this effective lead pack. So it sort of starts to break away a little bit here as well. JCW just dropping off the back of Micklemore, so Aiden Schultz here is going to look to try and get the move done down underneath JCW. He's going to be able to get it done. Looks like he will. He's just got an overlap there, not quite able to move up back onto that high line and follow the chain, so he's going to have to run it alone. Aiden Schultz to see if he can get the move done on JCW. And JCW gets the better run.
You might see Schultz getting a better run off the corner here, but he's going to start damaging those front tyres where he's sitting. And that's one of the things you've got to be careful of, is you're just going to start heating up those front tyres as you're on that low line. And you can see Schultz has managed to just get ahead of JCW here. Just get in front of JCW's nose. He just tags the apron slightly. JCW's just going to have to lift out, same as Schultzy there. They both have to ease out a little bit. And you just, when you're running in that position, it's kind of awkward, because you know you're going to hurt yourself for the long run. So you're going to be kind of hoping for a sort of maybe a caution in around about 10-15 laps just to help you out a little bit here. Or to get up on that high line as JCW gets real tail happy out of a corner. Just gives Schultz the ability to get up in front of him and get back up on that high line.
So he's got that done there. How much damage, only time will tell. He's now in pursuit of Josh Micklemore. A nice start here.
Yeah, I just wondering if Hamish Gallagher might be pushing a little bit too hard, too fast here. Gallagher is very much in the 33s while everybody else is in the 34s. Really setting some fast laps, but that's going to be possibly doing a little bit more damage to the tyres in the long run, and you might see Gallagher just start to fade a little bit once we get to around about lap 30, lap 40. So they might just have a little bit of problem later in this stint. He's going to be hoping for a caution possibly in about 15 or 20 odd laps, just to possibly help out with the tyre situation. Gallagher very much running that low line and very much running a bit of a tighter circuit around the track to get that speed. And when you do that, you tend to punish the tyres a little bit more than some of the other drivers. I was looking down towards some of the SRM drivers, and they're all running that high line, very much keeping those tyres alive and just trying to keep them very much in a position where they can take advantage of it later on in the stint. So they're currently just sitting in sort of hold pattern mode, not pushing too hard, but once they get a sniff of the drivers around them having their tyres drop off, I think they're going to start moving their way up the field.
Sorry, Carl. I was just Andrew Dyson just dropped in the chat and said that the Martins like chills are multiplying. And he's I had a quick look through there. He's not wrong. One of our overlay things is actually Travolta dancing in Saturday Night Fever. But anyway, there we go. There's I just noticed there's 3 Martins in the field tonight. So maybe they're having a meeting.
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry.
Say, yeah.
There's Noddy Tompkins just got real high up in the line there, just giving the wall a light brush.
Yeah, it's something you have to be a bit careful of because it's very easy to get up really high and just give that wall a little bit of a brush, and that really does scrub off a little bit of speed and does cause a little bit of problems later on. But yes, there are definitely more Martins appearing, which it's never good because Martins tend to do well in the ANZCAR series. We've seen Thomas Martin get a win this season, of course Jason Martin get a win, and now we have Braden Martin as well, so he's got to be the next Martin to get a win.
Speaking of which, Jason Martin just putting a move on Gary Wellman here, so trying to move up into P3. Looks like he might be able to get that one closed out as well.
Wellman just pushing Martin down a little bit, making sure he runs that real low line and just trying to affect his tyres a little bit, as Josh Micklemore's doing the same thing behind against Lachlan Urquio, so they're both in a position. There's all a little bit of contact there between Wellman and Martin, possibly just that slight buffer of air going between those two cars. They didn't make contact, but they very much, Martin would have just felt that little bit of air cushion coming off from his car and would have just had a moment of taking a deep inhalation of breath.
Panic. Chill.
I don't think Jason Martin panics. I think it's more just a moment of deep breathing and then back to it. As we've got a big incident, Joshua Carroll Walden is out. He has got a big lot of damage to the front of his car. It looks like Aiden Schultz and JCW just making a slight bit of contact, and that caused JCW to pitch up into the wall, and the front end of that Atari Autosport car is very much gone.
Oh yeah, there it is there. Just a tap on the right-hand rear quarter. I'll jump on the roof of JCW here and have another look at this.
Very similar to what we saw in the trucks with Lachlan Urquio and Michael Skurlock, just attaching the car in the wrong place at the wrong time. The locked-on car getting very lucky to slide through that one and not get damaged. Almost getting absolutely wrecked there, but just keeping out of the way and surviving that one. But yeah, just a slight tap at the wrong point, just at the pivot point of the car, and that caused it to go around. All the cars coming into pit lane to get those fresh boots and get some fuel in the tank. Will we see anybody stick it out there, see if they can do anything? I think not. I think we're going to see everybody come down the pit lane and get a fresh set of boots.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of smoke. Just saw a puff of smoke there. Could be not related, but that Atari Autosport entry, yeah, has got a bit of smoke coming out of the back there, so it's probably going to be night over. You'd think for Joshua Carroll Walden.
Yeah, unfortunately having a good run up until that point, so very unfortunate for JCW. I'm just going back to see who it was that got very lucky and avoided that incident in the locked-on racing team. So I saw one of them just absolutely just missed by a couple of millimetres.
Dare I say that Dave Douglas has missed his pit box? So he has done the trundle through pit lane and has not stopped. So he's missed his pit box in all of the commotion, but comes out in the lead on old tyres. So that will not last.
No, he has not missed his pit box, Dave. I don't think. No, he hasn't. No, wait, that's rewinding it.
He's done a pit lane transit, and
he has missed his pit box. Sorry, he stopped in the wrong box.
Oh, right. Well, you can't do that.
No, he stopped in. He stopped in. Well, he stopped in two boxes there at the same time. So good job from Dave Douglas managing to do the twofer. 2 for 1 there for Dave Douglas, but it's not really working out for him.
So the pit crews didn't come out and service his vehicle, so he's tossed the toy out of the pram and off he goes back out of pit lane.
Yeah, Dave's just gone, well, screw it, I'm just going to race like this then. So Dave Douglas on some old tyres now, so tyres that have done 17 laps here tonight. Just got to be a bit careful on the restart not to get those rears spinning up, so just be a little bit cautious on the start. And Hamish Gallagher will be keeping an eye on that. CV Dub also will be wanting to make sure that Dave gets away well, because he's going to be sitting in right behind him. This could be a really good opportunity for Gary Wellman and Josh Micklemore to get a bit of a leap across the field as well. So we'll see how this restart goes for Dave Douglas, as the pace car will be shortly coming in.
Yeah, so on board here with Stevie Dubb. We'll have a look at it from here. Pace car pulls off to the left, and then will Dave Douglas go. And he goes straight away there. Hamish backed off just at the wrong time. It looks like Stevie Dubb's got a good start here. So it's Hamish Gallagher as well, though. So Gallagher on that high line. Stevie Dubb just managing to throttle. Dave's getting a little bit loose in the mid-corner here. What's he going to be able to do as they come around? Looks like Stevie Dubb's going to get a good run on him. Does that. And Gallagher and Williams both move past Dave Douglas on the restart.
Yeah, look, it's unfortunate for Dave. He's just going to start tumbling down the field on those old tyres. Oh, big accident! Wellman into Josh Micklemore there. Huge accident, and that is Micklemore's night over and done with.
I didn't quite get to see the incident there. We jumped on with Gary Wellman as he was finishing playing the role of the pinball wizard. It's bouncing along the wall. You can see the damage on the right-hand rear quarter of the 45, so we'll jump back here and have a quick look.
Right.
Oh, there's just coming together there, isn't there?
Yeah, it looks like Wellman might have just got up into the wall a little bit beforehand, so he got a slide coming out of the corner, just managed to catch it, just caught the wall and bounced down into Josh Micklemore, unfortunately. Aidan Schultz missing that by millimetres. That was so close for Aidan Schultz there. He absolutely just narrowly avoided that. And a few other cars getting very lucky there as well. Just looking back through the field at the moment to see who it was. I think it was Scott Griffiths, just absolutely just saving that. And a few of the SRM cars just getting pinned up against the wall and having to make the narrowest of saves. Oh
my goodness.
Jump on board with Matty Ray. How many times do we have to say that this season? Jump on board with Matty Ray for his view of this incident. Threading the needle once again. Matty Ray manages to do it and not get a scratch on that car.
Just a slice of cheese there between the two cars. That is a very close score for Matty Ray. Disappointing for Josh Micklemore, though. He will be in pit lane for repairs. The car looking a little second hand. And a couple of those of late, unfortunately, as Josh in a couple of the last rounds. So across the series, should be looking to get away from that. He's probably had enough of it by now.
Yeah, that's sometimes the way it goes, unfortunately, is the bad luck cometh. And when it does, it just seems to pile on almost, and it just doesn't go away. And it's very frustrating when it happens to you, race in, race out. And it's been a couple of times for Micklemore this season, unfortunately. Real big shame, because he had a strong car out there tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. As always.
And of course, it does have implications towards the championship as well, because Micklemore is fighting for that at the moment. He came into the race sitting in third position, just behind Hamish Gallagher, of course. So, it does have those implications to it as well, and that's not what you need for a championship.
No, not at all. So, just having a look through here. This is going to help Dave Douglas a little bit, because in fact, he hasn't even jumped into pit lane. I thought he would have run through.
No, Douglas has decided to take a little bit of a gamble here. As I said, you don't get a huge amount of tyre wear at Miami, so it's not a huge drop off on the old tyre wear. But saying that, fresh tyres are often better than worn tyres, so I think Dave's just playing a little bit of a gamble here. Just noticed a few cars, Jamie Nakaveris and Peter Wilkinson, both coming in to get a little bit more fuel as well. So they're just topping up the tanks to see if they can go a little bit longer in this stint. So just throwing the dice a little bit, seeing how this one goes. Because if we get a long green section here, that could pay off for them.
Yeah, absolutely could. Wilco avoiding that damage as well, so he's got a nice clean 268 Locked On Lads sponsored entry. It's Locked On Lads podcast, going from strength to strength. So if you want to catch a summary of all of the action getting around in the local iRacing scene, that's the place to go. As Dave Douglas just tricks me into thinking he's ducking into pit lane, but he does not.
Throwing the dummy. Just absolutely
well, caught him out.
Just throwing the old dummy out there, just seeing if anybody will take the bait, and nobody was going hook, line and sinker into that one today. So Dave Douglas's fishing trip not going the way he wanted it to.
It did look like someone threw the dummy once they were well and truly past pit lane entry there. I'm not quite sure they understand how it works, but anyway, we'll let them run their own race. That's fine.
They were just trying to get a little bit more rubber on the tyre. That's
that old chestnut. Right.
Yeah.
Make sure they're over the weight minimum by the end of the race, you reckon?
That's it. You know, getting the mechanics to come out and fill the car full of lead balls in the final pit stop in the fuel tank, of course. You know, that old trick in racing. Luckily, in virtual racing, you don't get that too much. It's a little bit harder to throw lead weights in a car. You can't really do the underweight trick in this series. So Hamish Gallagher is going to get the lead away. Stevie Doublets are going to be on the outside. So it is Mitch Motorsport versus DPR at the front. Dave Douglas just behind him, Jason Martin, Thomas Martin, Gary Wellman, Aidan Schultz, Michael Skurlock, Lachlan Urquio and Kate Donnelly rounding out the top 10 there. Look out for the Sim Boys, they've got quite a few cars up the top. Getting away nicely is Hamish Gallagher. Dave Douglas does get a little bit of a squeal underneath the back of that car. Doesn't get away as clean as he wanted to, but has got a fairly decent restart. You can see he's just going to tuck in behind Jason Martin there in front of Gary Wellman.
Speaking of Martins, Thomas Martin, a lot of wheel spin on the restart, held up Aidan Schultz significantly there and backed the pack up a little bit on that low line. Schultz, he managed now to get out behind and jump up into the high line now to try and make that position up. He's gone with Gary Wellman as well, so didn't work for him. In fact, he's pulled back down to that low line now behind Thomas Martin, so seeing if they can make some moves happen.
Yeah, they're looking up front of them because Dave Douglas is kind of sitting in the middle of the road at the moment, and everybody's thinking, oh, we kind of want to get past Douglas because we know he's on those older tyres. And they don't want to get caught out behind him and start losing too much pace, so they're just trying to get past Double D. Meanwhile, Lachlan Urquio is just getting past Gary Wellman. Nice little move by Lachlan Urquio there, up behind Aidan Schultz now. Meanwhile, Michael Scarlett's putting the pressure on Dave Douglas. Will he be able to get past? Friendship is often magic, and Michael Scarlett is going to try not to be too friendly to Dave Douglas here as he takes away the position.
Yeah, won't want to let up too much time. As the fuel comes through, Gallagher, Williams, Martin, Skurlock as the top four now. A few changes after the stop. Dave Douglas continues to try and fight to hold on to position. Just losing another one here to Thomas Martin on fresher tyres. So he's going to come through as Aidan Schultz gets a little close there. Just manages to keep it. And we'll get past Dave Douglas as well. Plenty of love as always for After Dark Sim Racing. Welcome, guys. So looking on Luke Georgeson. He's currently running down in P16, up one position.
Good run from Luke. Again, new to the series and still working his way, just getting past Gary Wellman there, sitting in behind Christopher Finley. Wellman just hemorrhaging positions at the moment. The damage on the front of that car is causing a little bit of problems.
Yeah, just that damage causing that. He's hemorrhaging. Does have new rubber on the car, but doesn't help with the damage on both front corners of that car. So
Josh Mickle will try to get back out there to try and get a couple of positions, but unfortunately his engine has gone boom. So that is the end of the 31 tonight. That Mitch Motorsport car is going to heel into pit lane, and that is that for him tonight, unfortunately. Real big shame there for Josh Mickelmoy. He is going to be devastated. Meanwhile, up the front, we got a Mitch Motorsport 1-2.
We do. Mickey Skurlock, though, looking to come and interrupt the party. He's on the back of Stephen Williams now, looking for a way to get by, as Aidan Schultz is on the back of Thomas Martin as well. So a couple of those battles starting to form. Still plenty of time left. You can see the SRM boys, their cars stand out in this night time air, and they're starting to make their way up as well. So Noddy Tompkins has just made a move on Gary Wellman. He's up into 17th now behind WD. Big W Matty Ray is in P16, so they're on their way up the field as well. West doing well in P12, so a good run from Brenton there as well. So there's a couple here on the move up the field.
Mitchell West as well, up into P18. He's just got underneath Noddy Tompkins there, trying to get that position in the alternate coloured version of the West racing cars. The white, green and black, very close there, just gets on the apron a little bit. That's going to cost a little bit of extra speed there for Mitchell West, and Maddie Hunter is looking to take advantage of that, with Braden Martin just sitting in behind there as well. So a few cars up there just trying their luck. Meanwhile, Stevie Dubb is just getting passed by Michael Skurlock up at the front. Michael Skurlock getting up that position, as Steve Williams is looking to try and keep it a little bit higher. Was just keeping it on the high line for a while, and now he's making the attack on the low line on Skurlock, seeing if he can make a push there. Skurley just hanging around the outside, gets a little bit loose on the mid apex of the corner. That's going to give Stevie Dubb a good little bit of a run down the start finish straight here. Stephen Williams will get a good run on Skurley, but he's managed to somehow keep that car pointing in the right direction and still have some speed in it.
So looking off the back of Stephen Williams' car, Thomas Martin closing up as well. So this battle is developing. In the meantime, it's allowed Jason Martin and Hamish Gallagher to skip away out the front. They are more than a second up the road, so at the moment things in their control. Schultz just on the left-hand rear-quarter with Thomas Martin. Just looking, and looks here like he's going to try and have a crack on that low line again. And gets the job done very easily. So perhaps Martin, not to take anything away from Aidan Schultz at all, Martin maybe managing his tyre a little bit. Aidan got that move done with relative ease, so he'll now try and pursue the back of Stevie Dubb. Try and have another go at the top three.
Meanwhile, Kay Donnelly making a move on Lachlan Urquio just behind him as well. Kay Donnelly working his way up the field with Mirko Dortnak too. So those two are trying to push their way up the field at the moment, and Mirko having a good run up there in P9 from P15 tonight. So working his way up there as Dave Douglas just gets up very close or into the wall. No, he's just up right running against the pillow of air that you get on the wall cushion there, and he's just about to try and make a move on Luke Georgeson. Sort of a little bit of plateauing now for the tyres, and Dave Douglas is seeing what he can do right now.
Yeah, we'll just be hoping that at some stage the rest of them will join him, I guess, on that plateau. So I was surprised he didn't jump into the pit lane with that second caution, gave him a fresh breath of air. Nobody else did jump into pit lane, or in fact Peter Wilkinson did, as you said, to top up a little bit of fuel, but otherwise it would have allowed him to get onto the same tyre strategy as everyone else if it goes green till the end. We're probably going to see another raft of pit stops from everyone.
Remember, they are locked to 4 sets of tyres for the night, so Dave Douglas does have 3 more sets of tyres to use, while everybody else has 2. So if there are a couple of more cautions here, it could actually work in Dave Douglas's favour.
Yeah, well, time will tell, as always. But at the moment, Hamish Gallagher in the lead, half a second to the good over Martin. Skurlock and Williams still within touching distance of one another, but Skurley certainly on the chase towards those leading Mitch Motorsport entries. It's looking to see where we can get some value for you. Mirko Dortnak is fighting with Troy Davison, and Brenton West looking to get involved with that one. there's a little three-way battle developing there, and in fact in the background there you can see Scott Griffiths just trying to join into this pack too. Lachlan Urquhart will be wanting to move himself along from here. Just make up a little bit of time to Aiden Schultz in front of him. So fastest car on the track at the moment, probably no surprise at all that it was last time around Hamish Gallagher, who set the fastest lap, 34.32. It's best of the race so far of a 33.52, so a little bit of drop off in pace as you'd expect. 38 laps in, despite that new set of tyres on lap 15.
Yeah, that's it, about 20 laps on these, well, 23 laps on these tyres now. So they've done a little bit of running now, so their tyres are starting to get a little bit worn, and this is around the point where we saw that first caution sort of poke its nose out and people start thinking about coming in for that first pit stop. But we'll see how this one runs out, because there are a fair few people still tyre saving out there, still just saving a little bit of pace in the car for later in the stint. Meanwhile, you've got a few people absolutely galloping out in front, seeing if they can get a little bit of an advantage and seeing if they can actually pull a nice bit of a lap, a little bit of a lead up over the rest of the field.
Having a look here at Braden Martin, who's battling away, just lots a little bit of speed there through the corner with Mitchell West. Matty Hunt is involved, and behind him Timmy Court as well is involved in this group. They'll both be excited to be ahead of Peter Wilkinson. I'm sure they'll be giving him plenty of reminders of that at the moment.
All the encouragement they can with that, I'm sure. I was actually chatting to Braden and Wilco earlier in the week, and they were talking about, sort of Braden was talking about his debut on the ovals and saying, I'm a bit worried about it, and Wilco was there being like, you're going to be quick no matter what, you always are. But he is a pretty talented driver, Mr. Braden Martin, very quick in a skippy as well. So one of those drivers that has got that circuit racing experience. Tim Corn as well, one of those drivers with a lot of circuit racing experience. Not so much on the ovals, but doing a good job out there tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Carl, what, if any, random facts can you tell us about where we are racing tonight?
Well, Homestead, of course, in Miami, Florida. The reason for this track becoming a track effectively was because of Hurricane Andrew back in the early 1990s. It was part of a plan to basically rebuild the area and get it back to some form of economic hotspots. So that was part of the plan, was actually building a raceway here. So you have Hurricane Andrew to thank for Homestead Miami becoming a track.
Right, well there you go. That is not what I was expecting you to come out with at all. So
When have I ever come out with anything you've expected?
Well, I don't know, Carl. I don't know. I'm not sure that you ever will. But that's really interesting. Yeah, it makes sense as well. Any idea on your facts sheet there about the capacity of the track?
Crowd capacity?
Yeah.
46,000. There we go.
Okay, so get a little bit of traffic. Not the biggest one around, but get a little bit of traffic back into the area. That's a good thing. Motorsport bringing people back together. That's what we love to hear. Give you the warm and fuzzies on a Wednesday night.
That is the thing.
Kate Donnelly's just put a move on Thomas Martin. So they're fighting away, so we just keep one eye on the racing.
Meanwhile, his teammate Troy Davidson's trying to make a move on Moko Dornack just behind as well. So there are a few little battles going on track at the moment. A lot of drivers sitting in a bit of a holding pattern. Hamish Gallagher very much not in that group. He is just absolutely flooring it at the moment, trying to get a good bit of a pace advantage over the rest. But Kate Donnelly has definitely got a quick car out there tonight. He's really catching on those leaders, setting some good lap times. Watch out for Stevie Dub as well. He started setting some quick laps now as well. So Stevie Dub just coming back into it. I think those tyres are just starting to wear off a little bit on the front runners who are just starting to sprint away a little bit. And the guys that just had a little bit of an easier first stint are just starting to catch up to them now.
Have a quick look at this one. So that gap closing even here as well. So just say potentially just a few too many dollars spent early on in the race.
But Dave Douglas doing a good job of keeping that car in a relatively good spot. He's in P14 at the moment. A little bit of damage on the front right quarter panel, but no major speed loss. So Dave Douglas still managing on those old tyres. Of course, Dave's going to probably have to dart in for fuel as well. That's going to be the other thing. He will not have a tank of fuel in there, so he's going to be getting a little bit lighter on fuel while everybody else is going to have a fair bit remaining for this race. So Douglas will be hoping for a caution, probably in about the next 10 to 15 laps, I'd say.
And so that means everyone is definitely going to have to stop again tonight for fuel.
I believe so. Yeah, I've not had my full usual chat and debrief with some of the drivers on the fuel numbers, but from what is usually the case here, I think it's not going to be from the fact we saw cars coming in to top up on fuel, that's usually a sign that they are going to be running a little bit lighter on the old fuel loads.
We'll see who's going to hold out the longest, because of course they won't be wanting to run in under green if they can avoid it. May not have a choice, however. So once again, this battle continues to seesaw between Urquio and Martin. So Urquio now trying to open up the gap. Got about half a second. Does look like Martin's struggling a little bit there. The drop off between himself and Lachlan Urquio. Also got a close one here between Luke Georgeson and Braden Martin. Braden Martin now trying to make the move down the inside. He's going to see if he can get that done. Looks like we should be able to close that one out.
So, just doing a couple of numbers and having a bit of a ponder about what I heard earlier. I think we'll probably see Dave Douglas coming into pit lane now, which he has done. Pretty much bang on lap 50. So get about 50 laps of fuel. So about 50 laps of fuel if you've got some cautions in there. So about 45 to 30 laps of fuel. About 45 laps of fuel in green flag running. So Dave Douglas coming in right now. So that means that the rest of the field will be looking to come in around about 5 laps to 10 laps time. Lachlan Urquio coming in now as well, so he's going to change tyres. So they are green flags stopping now. So obviously they're getting a little bit light on fuel. So numbers wise, that is about the correct time. So Hamish Gallagher is going to be probably coming into pit lane very, very shortly as well, I'd say. Thinking about coming in for those fresh tyres and also a bit of a top up on fuel as well. So I reckon we'll see the majority of the field pit in around about 3 to 4 laps time.
So I'm just trying to... Does that mean they can make it here on fuel? They're going to have to take a full tank? They will...
They will not make it on fuel. No.
So it's an interesting call. Urquio will be hoping that they get an early stop. Thomas Martin, that is, Mirko Dortnack, Adam Schultz also jumping in. So what I was trying to say was they'll be hoping that they get a caution so they can jump through to get that splash and dash done at the end. Because as it stands, they won't make it to the end.
No, not from my working out. So if they we'll see how the rest of the field go, but remember there has been a caution, so I think it's going to be very touch and go if they can make it to the end. In all honesty, it's going to be one of those real big fuel saves if somebody can do it. The drivers that are going to be looking good, I would say, are Jamie McNamara and Peter Wilkinson. McNamara is of course coming in and stopping in that last caution, same as Wilco. So those drivers have got a little bit more fuel on board, so they can go a little bit longer. They might be able to stretch it out to one stint, whereas the other drivers out there might need a splash and dash at the end, or might have to do some real big fuel saving to make it to the end.
Yeah, you're right, it probably will play out well for Wilco. as it sits where he pit on lap 20, and Gary Wellman lap 21 and lap 20 for Peter Wilkinson. So they've got an extra 6 laps on everyone else, which will get them over that halfway mark in terms of where they're now in terms of race to go. So should be able to potentially fuel to the end, but I think the likes of Lachlan Urko might be slightly shy. Anyway, we'll wait and see. Of course, if there is another caution, that will help, as in comes Jamie Nankervis. So,
hey, odd, because I thought he would stick it out a little bit longer, but I think the tyres are calling, so I think it's a little bit more to do with tyre wear than possibly fuel in some of those stops. Dave Douglas was definitely a fuel, so we know that they can do 50 laps with some cautions there.
It's still really interesting though, Carl, because Gallagher, a majority of, in fact, the top 13 cars all pit on lap 15. So, maybe just gambling with the fact that they can get it out of the way, and if there is a caution, stay out there.
Yeah, I think that's it. There's a little bit of hope going on, and just also they've got the option of fuel saving a little bit. You can see Stevie Dubbers caught up to the back of Jason Martin, and those guys, there is some different strategies playing out. So Dave Douglas was going a little bit easier earlier on in the race, and now he's catching up to Jason Martin. Jason Martin and Hamish Gallagher are pushing a little bit harder. So I think we're going to see the front pack coming in relatively soon, maybe in the next lap or two. As, who was that just behind Hamish Gallagher? Noddy Tompkins there just getting very loose on the exit of the corner, manages to save it, but does get a bit of a slide job coming out the corner. Good save there from Noddy though.
Michael Skurlock now in pit lane. A little bit of damage on the rear wing of the 350. In fact, a little bit of damage on the rear of the car complete. So
yeah, got that from Thomas Martin actually. Skirley was just coming into pit lane, and Martin just caught the back of Skirley there. So Thomas Martin making a bit of a mistake there, and we have to remember Thomas Martin first season in ANZCAR, so one of those little mistakes of a rookie, and just caught the back of Skirley there. So Skirley just getting lucky. Hamish Gallagher in pit lane. Jason Martin, I'd say, coming in probably next lap round, as Lachlan Urko is just getting underneath Jason Martin right now.
Getting through on Stevie Dub as well, so getting himself unlapped.
Crucially for him at the moment, unlapping himself, so that's good news in that respect, and that's going to help him out a little bit, just give him that little bit of ability. So got 39 laps remaining. So Jason Martin has managed 44 laps on this stint, and of course a few of those were under caution, so it's going to be very close towards the end. I think it's going to be very close for them to make it on fuel. We could be for an interesting finish here tonight, if we remain green.
Let's hope we do, so we get to see how that plays out. Peter Wilkinson now up into P7. I'll be very happy with that. Of course, he does still have to jump into pit lane. But, he is the last of the later stoppers, so he stopped on lap 21. So he's still got a little bit to go here. Question is, how much time is he going to be losing? Lap time is he going to be losing to the guys on fresh tyres? Well, his last lap around was a 34.19, and just as they go around there, Matty Ray goes past him, a 34.12. So he's not even lapping that slowly either. The lead cars, they're our top 6 vehicles in front of him, all in the 35s and high 35s, including a couple of 36s from Braden Martin and Mitchell West. So pace on Wilkinson, they're not too bad.
Yeah, it's setting good pace at the moment, and just keeping it plugging away. Jason Martin, Brenton West, Scott Griffiths, Tim Corn, Braden Martin, Mitchell West, all doing a good job of fuel saving at the moment. So Tim Corn up into just working his way, actually just past Scott Griffiths there with Braden Martin. So those locked-on cars have actually worked a really good strategy here, because they are going to have enough fuel to get to the end, of course, and they will have fresher tyres as well, but they're setting relatively good pace at the work time as well. So they're still setting good pace. They saved themselves that little bit of tyre for this last little sprint before they head into pit lane. And I think they're going to try and come out connected with each other as well. So this could be really interesting to see here.
Looks like Wilco's in. And he's going to do his stop now. Just to get fresh boots and get the fuel done. So he'll be having a much shorter stop than everyone else. We've got 34 laps to go here. Round 8 of the ANZCAR Thunder Series, the Xfinity cars on FGM Acast on your Wednesday night as always. Just joined us with Carl Withy and Stuart Brown as Peter Wilkinson. What's happened there? He's, I don't know, he's just, timing screen's a little slow to update. I just saw him literally plummet from P13 down to P26, but it's just updating. So he's on his way out of pit lane now, having done his final stop, unless he chooses to, under caution if there is one, jump in and grab some fresh boots.
Remember, those cars have been pacing on fresh tyres, so they have been much faster than him. They've been setting some really good lap times, about a second or so faster than him every lap. So they will all take a big drop in time. So once Jason Martin comes in, which is right now, he's going to drop way down the order and fall behind a fair few cars. Meanwhile, that's going to give Tim Corn his first lap led in his debut here in the ANZCAR Series. So Tim Corn getting a lap led tonight, so that is good news for him and his rookie race. Braden Martin just behind him and his teammates. Scott Griffiths in third. So they've managed to do a fantastic job of fuel saving. And they will have nice fresh tyres to the end here, so they'll be able to do a 30-lap stint pretty much and just absolutely hammer it. But they are going to be hoping for a nice long green section here, or possibly, if a caution came out now, it wouldn't be too bad for them in all honesty. But they sort of, as long as they got enough fuel to make it that couple of laps so that they can actually, get into pit lane and don't have to sort of limp into pit lane in emergency mode. But it looks like they're still doing well out there, so they're keeping it out there for the moment. I'd say they'd probably be coming in about 1 or 2 laps, and then they're going to have nice fresh tyres for the end. Jason Martin meanwhile has dropped down to P15, so if you're wondering how far that's going to drop people up the front when they come into pit lane, that is how far. So Jason Martin all the way down to P15, but on fresh tyres. Meanwhile, Hamish Gallagher is working his way back up through the field. He's got Lachlan Urquio behind him. Remember, Lachlan Urquio pitted a little bit earlier. He got those fresh tyres a little bit earlier, and that's really given him a nice jump at the moment. So Lockie getting a good run there and just sitting behind Hamish Gallagher. So once Braden Martin, that is, and Tim Corn come into the pit lane, those two will be the effective race leaders.
I'm just waiting for this all to cycle through now. There's the cold tyres as well. All those drivers could provide us with caution, but there's only 3 drivers out there now on a one-stop strategy, which is our race leader, Tim Court, Braden Martin, and Dave Douglas, who did make 2 trips through pit lane, but only one where he stopped for some tyres. So Hamish Gallagher is the effective race leader. Lachlan Urquio, it's worked out well for him because he's now up into P4, and that is a good change as Mick Taylor got notification background has had an incident. Looks like not the sort of incident, however, that's big enough to bring out the safety car.
Watch out for Stevie Dubb here. Stevie Dubb's on a bit of a charge. Yeah, you've got to put a dollar in.
I've got to put a dollar back in that I got back last night. That's unbelievable. It's been a long time since I've made that mistake, and I've done it 3 times in 1 week, so just need to check myself on the weekend.
That's it. I mean, we're gonna have to check you into rehab. Just make sure you get the right cars and remember which one's a pace car, which one's a safety car. Mick Taylor just there might be a technical failure because he's just stopped down on the apron. So it looks like Mick Taylor's had a technical failure of some kind, and he's just sort of stopped down there and finally managed to jump out of that car and jump into pit lane. So some kind of technical failure there. I'd say it's some kind of rig failure there for Mick Taylor, unfortunately, which is a big shame. Like that. Yeah, it looks like possibly a wheel failure because he could not jump out of that car as well. So something major has gone there. So Hamish Gallagher back in the lead of the race. Lachlan Urquio in second with a very fast charging Stevie Dubb in third position. So those guys doing well. Jason Martin, meanwhile, is trying to eat his way through the field on those fresh tyres and see how much of a position he can gain on fresh rubber right now.
Yeah, he's still lapping quicker than everybody in front of him. So he's got 2.2 to Kay Donnelly. You can say that's only a couple of laps away from being a battle there. And of course, Kate is with chasing Mirko Dortnack. So the field's spread out a little bit here. There's a cluster of cars with Mickey Skurlock and Thomas Martin. But otherwise, it's going to be... He's still got a little bit of time to go, but in the blink of an eye, he can be on lap 90. So he's got his work cut out for him, does Martin. A caution would do him a favour.
Well, he's currently lapping about 3/4 of a second faster than the field, as we've got a caution. We've got a caution just as Stevie Dubb was getting past Lachlan Urquio. It looks like Dave Douglas might be in some trouble. So Dave Douglas just looping it on the exit of the corner. So looks like that's the reason for the caution. That car's just gone round and unfortunately could not save it. So it's disastrous for those guys that were going for that long strategy. Or is it? Will we see the leaders come in? Will we see some of those guys that just pitted stay out? So Tim Court and Braden Martin have only just pitted, remember. They've only done 2 laps on those tyres, whereas somebody like Hamish Gallagher is definitely going to probably come into pit lane, I'd say, for those fresh boots, because they're going to be a bit of a sitting duck towards the end of this race now. It's really going to affect them. So this has completely changed the complexion of the race. And I think we're going to see everybody bar Tim Corn and Braden Martin coming into pit lane.
I'm just having a look here at what happened to Dave Douglas. It just started breaking away from him on the entry to the corner there. Looks like he was just struggling a little bit. And then really much to go on here.
It's just on this corner now, so the back end just steps out on Dave. He tries to catch it, and then it all goes wrong. So just about here, the back end starts looping, and then he just catches it on the straightaway, and then all of a sudden he gets a tank slapper on there. So Jason Martin stayed out, Brenton West has stayed out, Luke Georgeson stayed out, Tim Corn and Braden Martin has stayed out. So a few cars sticking it out there, but the freshest tyres are on Tim Corn and Braden Martin. So those guys have got very fresh boots. Meanwhile, we have got
pretty much everyone else
in the pit lane.
Yeah, pretty much everybody else, but it is Martin who's going to be leading. This is couldn't have played out any better for Tim Court and Luke Georgeson. Sorry, Brenton. Sorry, Tim Court and Braden Martin. My apologies. Both of them basically just warming up the tyres before the caution came out. So I think Luke Georgeson, he pit on lap 58, so he's going to have some competition pretty quickly from Tim Court. If Timmy can get the 116 off the line on the restart, and then it's going to be a bit of a challenge as well. Of course, the gap not as big between West and Martin's tyre life and that of Court and Braden Martin. So just never know what might happen here on this restart. There's every chance we could have a Martin top 3.
It is possible. I mean, it's we've had a few team lockouts this season, but we've not had a Martin lockout, and I mean, it's always possible with Martins. They seem to be good at this kind of stuff.
So we'll see how this plays from here. Everyone obviously will now be able to run to the end. Everyone on fresh tyres apart from our top 3. I'm going to count the 4th and 5th place Court and Martin as being on fresh scrubbers. We've got 65 laps for Jason Martin and 50 for Georgeson. So see how the restart goes for them. Of course, one thing is for absolute certain, which is that Jason Martin will still be incredibly quick. He was lapping fastest when the caution came out. So the challenge is thrown down to everyone else to match his pace with 23 to go.
It's going to be a 20-lap sprint now, and I think we might see a couple more cautions. I've got that feeling just brewing. I think we might see a couple of cautions, breeding cautions here. A few people just getting a little bit hungry, and maybe a little bit too eager, possibly. We'll see how this one works out, but we got a lot of fresh blood at the top of the field as well. Look at all the different names up there. Brenton West, who's become a bit of a regular, but remember, still very early in ANZCAR career. Luke Georgeson, Tim Corn, Braden Martin, all new to the series this season. So great to see some new names up there. Hamish Gallagher, Stevie Dubb, Lachlan Urquio, Troy Davidson, and Thomas Martin as well. Of course, rookie in the season, taking out that Daytona victory first time out. So a lot of new names are up in the top 10. But it is an old one that leads, and that's Jason Martin. We don't often see him here on a Wednesday night, but he's doing his Jason Martin thing and leading a race.
Only thing he really knows how to do. Well, within the sport, I should say. He's quite capable outside of it, but I don't really see him do a lot else these days. Other than leading and doing so very well. So he'll be in control of the field at the restart. It's played out well for him. Pace car pulls in. And away we go. Martin gets a cracking restart. No surprises at all in the drag race. West goes with him enough to get in front of Luke Georgeson. Hamish Gallagher already up a number of positions, so he's up in that high line as we're 3 wide through the middle here. Looks like Tim Cork got caught out there.
Yeah, the experienced campaigners there are absolutely flying through the field right now. They are just taking advantage of it. Stevie Dubb just gets so close to the back of Luke Georgeson there. Stevie Dubb sideways through the corner, manages to save it somehow. So close there. They are 4 wide across the start-finish line. Down towards the back. Skurlock trying to make his way back up through the pack at the moment with Mirko Dornak. It is absolute crazy furball down there. They are 4 wide through turns 1 and 2 right now. It is absolute madness down in the mid-pack.
Yeah, locked on boys getting close together there as well. See Schulte trying to make a move through as well.
And this is where experience pays off. As I was saying, you know, some of those newer to the series up in front, and they've gone from up to the front of the pack down towards the mid-pack now. They have just dropped like stones, unfortunately, and that's the difference a little bit of experience makes. Meanwhile, Hamish Gallagher is up to P2. He's getting past Brenton West. You see Lachlan Urquio as well, just sniffing around there, trying to get up into that P3 position, taking it away from Brenton West. Will it be another P5 finish for Brenton West tonight? He has been very good at locking out that P5 position. I think pretty much almost every race this season we've seen Brenton West P5 as they get so close on the exit there. 3 wide, you can see just Schultz just down on the inside of Finley. They're just trying to get past, can't quite make it at the moment. Matty Ray trying to get through. Luke Georgeson gets caught, manages to save it. Luke Georgeson saves it. Just avoids a big accident with Matty Hunter there. Good save from Luke Georgeson, but that was real sketchy stuff.
Still trying to run 3 wide into the corner. So it's very, very close here. Matty Ray's has been the benefactor, of course. He's now up 14 spots into P12. He'll be on his run now. 17 to go. Aiden Schultz trying to go with him as well. At the front, Mickey Skurlock's made a good run out of this restart. He's back up into P8 with the damage on the 350. He's now trying to put the pressure down on Troy Davison. He's Lachlan Urquio and Brenton West trade places. So Urquio up into the top 3. So it's Martin Gallagher and Urquio on the podium at the moment, but Brenton West wants to make something of it as Stevie Dubb in the background looks like he wants to get involved as well. So there is plenty on here, 16 to go. Who is going to take this one out? It's anyone's race at the moment. as we get to the closing stages of this one at Homestead.
Fantastic driving by everybody out there so far. As I said, I was expecting to see a caution come. It looked like that was going to be very possible as they were running 4 wide at Homestead, Miami, which is something you generally don't do. I was just expecting Boromir to pop up and say one does not just walk it, just go wide, 3 wide into Homestead. But they absolutely managed it. Meanwhile, Hamish Gallagher has managed to get the lead of the race over Jason Martin. Gallagher back in the lead, and away he goes on those fresh tyres, just absolutely using up that rubber while he can and really taking advantage of that fresh tyre. Will Lachlan Urquio be able to do the same and catch up to Jason Martin? He is on much fresher tyres. Of course, Jason Martin on tyres that have done 18 laps right now. Lachlan Urquio, Hamish Gallagher on tyres that have done 9. So there is a big disparity between those tyres, about 10 laps between them. And you can see just the difference it's making at the moment just with the exit grip.
Yeah, most definitely. So, it's through at the front, stabilised a little bit. Skurley looks like he's trying to get a different way past Thomas Martin and Brenton West. He's going round the outside and he's closed that one out. So Davison drops down into 8, Skurley into 7th. He's now got to get past Thomas Martin if he's to continue to progress his cause.
And they are still pretty much 2 to 3 wide. Down further in the pack, Christopher Finley, Aidan Schultz, Dave Douglas, Matty Raymond, those guys are all running 2 to 3 wide at the moment. It is still just absolute insanity down in that mid-pack. It's like every time you look back there, you think, oh, there's going to be a massive crash there. Nope, there isn't. They've managed to keep it somehow. Really good driving by all of them. Troy Davidson and Kay Donnelly having a good run up in P8, P9. Michael Scullop trying to catch up to Thomas Martin at the moment. Meanwhile, Lachlan Urquio has made the move on Jason Martin up the front, so Lachlan Urquio up to P2 now.
Lachlan pumped about that. 12 to go. Gotta hold him off.
Watch out for Stevie Dubb, just smelling a little bit of purple blood in the water there. He is just sniffing behind Jason Martin, and you can see the 98 DPR Simrigs car just absolutely getting right up onto the back as there was a big moment behind us. I think Loco Dalton just had a little bit of a moment behind. They were running 4 wide for a couple of seconds just at the start. Up 10 laps to go. Hamish Gallagher is in the lead over Lachlan Urquio, Stevie Williams, Jason Martin, Brenton West, who has got a pack of angry cars on him right now as Michael Scullop makes the pass. Thomas Martin looking to do the same with Troy Davidson. They are running 3 wide down the front straight at the moment. Brenton West has got a good inside line here. He might get a position back on Michael Skurlock. Doesn't quite do it. Skurlock does take the high line. Thomas Martin gets that high line as well, trying to get the slingshot around. Can't quite make it this time. Brenton West doing a good job of defending, but those older tyres are hurting him.
We've got a good run there too. He just can't quite. He's going to try and bump his way down into the middle. Not quite able to do that.
Oh, it's getting so
getting
close.
Real loose there on the exit as well. Didn't get any luck out of that one as he tries to close over Skurley. Gap at the front between Urquio and Stevie Dubb has stabilised at around about half a second. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Have a bit of a look further back here again as we have this pack developing. Well, it's not developing, it's developed, and they're all racing with 9 to go.
Braden Martin having a good run up in P10 at the moment. He's desperate to get some championship points as currently he is stuck down in the lower positions of the field, currently in joint position with me in the championship. So he is desperate to try and get out of that spot in 38th.
Mic off.
So we can see up the front, it is Hamish Gallagher leading, but this pack is having a mighty battle, as we said. Look at these guys getting it on at the moment. Brenton West trying to defend against Braden Martin. Martin's got that high line. getting around, going to try and make the pass. Matty Raymond, watch out for him. He is absolutely on the move as well, trying to make it through, seeing what he can do with his evening, getting a good run. He wants to keep it up there so Hamish Gallagher doesn't close the gap too much on him. Remember, only a 15-point lead between Raymond and Gallagher coming into this race, and Gallagher is going to be pretty happy with the current finishing order. We've got 5 laps remaining tonight, and they are going to be action-packed for sure.
Yeah, absolutely they are. So who are we trying to look at here? We're looking everywhere at the moment.
You feel like a cat that's just had a bit too much catnip at the moment. You're staring all over the place, trying to keep an eye on everything, because there is action throughout the field.
Even further back here, Griffith, Schultz and West 3 wide. Norm Clark looking like he's a bit pacey at the end. He's got to move on Christopher Finlay. So there's changes for position going on everywhere. Stick here with Thomas Martin for a minute, as he's got Troy Davison looking to try and get underneath him at the front as well. I can tell you that the gap between Urquio and Stephen Williams is closed as well. It's now down to 3/10. So Stevie Dubb closing in with 5 to go. The gap to lead still a second between Gallagher and Urquio. So Gallagher at the moment looks like he is in the ascendancy here. But Urquio has got some work to do if Stevie Dubb keeps closing in on him at this rate. This time around, it was Stevie Dubb who did the quicker lap. So but still did the quicker lap. So he is closing that gap ever so slightly. You can see it on the picture. Just keeps narrowing. And is it going to be Stevie Dubb who's going to be able to put a move on here? It's going to be at the end. If it's going to be on, I feel like it's going to be on that last lap to get across the start-finish line. Troy Davison still putting the pressure on the back of Thomas Martin. Kate Donnelly saying, come on, mate, if you can't get through, let me have a go. Positioning themselves for that final pull-out run to the flag. Mirko Dortnak got Timmy Korn on his rear quarter. So Timmy trying to get a move done here to move up another position. Matty Hunter's got Christopher Finlay all over him. Oh, as Norm Clark gets into him, into West.
Really nice move. Norman Clark moving up at position, and look at that, getting up there for Hunter as well. Meanwhile, we've got 2 laps remaining, and Stevie Dubb is putting the pressure on Lachlan Urquio at the moment. Stevie Dubb gets a good run off the final corner, trying to make it work. Gets right up against the wall, just running right up on that pillow of air. Really putting the pressure on Lockie at the moment in the Oz New Zealand Combined Racing League. The DPR car is really putting the pressure on, trying to get that extra spot, trying to get up to P2. Meanwhile, Hamish Gallagher still in the lead. He's going to be looking at that white flag very shortly, but it can't come soon enough for Lachlan Urquio. Stephen Williams gets a good run on the outside here. It's Stephen Williams in the 98, Lachlan Urquio on the inside in the 42. Williams gets loose on the exit there, just manages to save that car. Stays in 3rd position for the time being. White flag is out. Last lap is here. Hamish Gallagher leads. It is Stevie Dubb and Lachlan Urquio side by side for P2 and 3. Who's going to get the final spot on the podium? It could be anyone's with this current race. Stevie Dubb getting a good run out of the corner right here. Stevie Dubb's going to try for the outside line once more. Who's going to get this run? It's going to be Hamish Gallagher crossing the line for the win, but it looks like it's going to be Stephen Williams getting P2. Lachlan Urquio is going to get a little bit of a better run out here. Hamish Gallagher does cross the line for the win, but who's going to get P2? It's going to be Stephen Williams in the DPR car. Really nice run for Stevie Dubb over Lachlan Urquio in 3rd. Jason Martin 4th. P5 for Michael Scott, Troy Davidson in 6th, 7th for Thomas Martin, 8th for Cade Donnelly, Braden Martin coming home P9, and Dave Douglas wrapping out the P10. Biggest mover of the night, not a big surprise, but Matty Raymond in P11, 15 positions gained.
Absolutely. It was Hamish Gallagher who dominated tonight. The Mitch Motorsport number 13 entry. Pole position converts to a win. And a cracking finish there between Williams and Urquio. Good running from both right the way through, as we get to see the celebrations here from the number 13 Mitch Motorsport entry of Hamish Gallagher.
Well-deserved celebrations for Hamish Gallagher there, and he is going to be singing a song tonight, because he is going to be winning and winging it in the Xfinity cars. Once again, another good win for the reigning champion.
Yeah, absolutely. Solid performance.
And a really good result as well for Braden Martin up there in P9 in his first oval race in the series in the Xfinity car. So congrats to Braden Martin there for Locked On. Tim Corn as well having a good run in P14. And good night for Locked On. They managed to get all their cars home without too much damage. Peter Wilkinson down in 26th in the end, but another good result for him, another good finish. Probably not the one he would have wanted, but he managed to get the car home relatively scot-free.
Yeah, absolutely. So, another round there completed. We're just waiting for the drivers to jump into the booth, and we'll have a quick chat with them before we finish this one up. And it is our last streaming night for the week, so we will be back again on Monday with the Truck Series, and a full week of streaming next week as usual. So we've got everyone available now. Let's grab them down. In fact, we're just waiting on Hamish Gallagher to come in, but we might grab Stevie Dubb and Lachlan Herclio into the booth so we can get things underway, Carl.
Yeah, absolutely. And a man I was speaking to before the race that was saying, I've got no hope tonight. This car is terrible. It's like driving a ship. I am not going to finish anywhere. Mr. Lachlan Herclio, I did say you'd join us in the booth, didn't I?
Yeah, I'll eat my words, Carl. Wow.
Every time I hear a driver complain about the car being terrible and they won't have a good race, it always happens. Guaranteed to happen. Lachlan Herclio, congratulations on that P3, mate.
Yeah, I think the big kicker was timing the undercut perfectly in that middle stint, because otherwise I would have been stuck down P5, 6 somewhere in the middle of nowhere. It was just way too difficult to overtake on even tyres. So that was probably what gave it to me. And then, yeah, following Hamish threw everyone on the restart. Just stuck to his rear bumper and ended up passing all the cars on old tyres, which was awesome. But and then at the end there, that battle with Steve, gutted I lost out to him, but man, that was fun. I'll eat my words.
That battle with Stevie Dubb at the end was very close. I didn't want to say anything on the stream because I was sort of expecting to say something about Lachlan Herclio was not expecting a good night tonight, and then all of a sudden see your car explode or just disappear or vanish in a puff of smoke or something. But it's happened. We got you up here in the booth, and as I said, I was laughing so hard inwardly at the fact that you were complaining so much. When I saw you jump up in qualifying as well, obviously good qualifying lap from you before the race as well.
Yeah, that was a bit of a luck. I just decided to Hail Mary, turn the Delta off and go out there and set a lap, see what happens. Tried something different and clearly it worked. But nah, that was hell of a race. Well done to Hamish and Steve. Didn't have anything for Hamish and Steve. You're just too good at the end.
Congratulations, Lockie. Before you go, the usual shout out and love to sponsors, people in general, and just everyone, really.
Oh, massive thanks to FGM. You guys put on the best broadcast quality stuff week in, week out. It's awesome to go back and watch. Always love going back and listening to all of the interviews mid-race, all the stuff after the race. It's an incredible package. You guys done really well, and it's awesome. It's a privilege to be able to race under you guys. And I'd like to shout out to ANZCRL, place where I started out everything, and back on the Xbox days. These guys have looked after me for a long time, and I'm really glad I can finally give something back to them with a really good result on stream and a bit of love. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, just thanks to the guys I raced with tonight for being real clean and real nice to race against. It was good.
Congratulations, Lockie. I am so happy to see it happen, and I'm just so glad it happened tonight because, yeah, that just makes it too perfect from what you were saying earlier.
Cheers, man.
Lachlan Herclio there. Next up, we jump to second place man, DPR driver, Mr. Stephen Williams. Congratulations on that P2 there, mate.
Cheers, thanks for that.
That was one heck of a drive there at the end. I mean, you had some good pace tonight, obviously, with that qualifying. We saw you qualify P2 and finish P2, but it wasn't that cut and dry, was it?
No, I'd have to agree with Lachlan. The thing was a pig of a thing. The drive was, so you had to be so careful, especially out of 4. It was just on ice if you got on it too early.
Yeah, it did not look easy. Definitely definitely not one of the easiest nights out there, but you definitely earned your paycheck tonight. Well, if you know Neil Pearson pays you guys, I mean, you know, hopefully he's going to give you some money for this one because I think you deserve it tonight. So, shout out to Pearson. Make sure to give Stevie Dub lots and lots of money tonight for this performance. But you had a really good race tonight, and you seem to have some really good pace out there as well.
Yeah, especially on the longer run, I thought I just got to not, you know, get carried away and try catch anyone. Just let them slowly come back to us. And I don't think I would have had anything for Hamish. You know, like on the long run, I might have been able to get to his bumper, but I don't think I would have been able to get past.
No, but that battle at the end with Lockie was fantastic to watch. It gave us a great finish as well. Pearson just mentioning that you probably still owe him for a couple of crashed cars, Stevie, but really good run there at the end, and that was a great battle as well. Unfortunately, we missed the race winner crossing the line because we were so focused on that battle for P2.
On that restart at the end there with a few cars on older tyres, it was hard not to push too hard past them. I nearly lost it out of 4 one time, just a massive slide on the outside there, and it was cool fun getting through there, and then trying to catch Lachlan there at the end. It was just take that little bit, you know, each step, each lap, just to bridge that gap, and then at the end there it was nothing in it really. It was just I think Lachlan, if he hadn't tried defending a bit too much, probably would have held me off.
No, look, a really good run there. And as you said, at the end, we saw some moments where we had to take some deep breaths because you got so close. We saw that big slide job you had. Well done for keeping that one going. Well done for missing the collision as well. I think it was Luke Georgeson that got very close to you as well at one point, just after that restart. But really good driving out there as well. We were kind of expecting to see a caution after that final caution, in all honesty, because it did look like a bit of a crazy race out there at the end as people were driving 4 wide into the corners here at Miami. But great driving to get through that absolute melee and get up to P2, Stevie Dub.
Cheers, thanks for that.
Before I let you go, the usual thing is shout out and love to your sponsors.
It's FGM eCast for the stream, and you, Carl, and Stuart, just the broadcast. It's awesome to watch that replay back during the week and stuff. Simrigs.com, Southwell Lifts and Hoists, Ben Max Mechanical, BetSmart Racing Services, Alcoholder, Phoenix Smokers, and MP Designs, and all the DPR lads.
Congratulations, Stevie Dub. Well done again, and I'm sure we'll see you in the booth before the end of the year.
Yep, hope so.
Next up, we head to the race winner. Once again, it is the 13. There is no bad blood between us, Mr. Hamish Gallagher. Congratulations on another victory.
Thanks, Carl. Hope you're doing well tonight.
Oh, absolutely. What a masterful performance from yourself. You must have been a little bit worried when that caution came out, and you had to sort of come into pit lane and sort of for that final stop thinking, oh, is this going to be a bit of a ruiner? What were your thoughts when that flag fell?
Yeah, that's definitely not what I wanted to see. I had 15 laps on my tyres, so I had no choice to come pit. My race would have been over otherwise, whereas Jace only had like 6 laps, so we sort of split it. So, if there was another caution, hopefully Jace would have got the win. If there was no caution, hopefully I could get it. So, just got lucky, I guess, at the end there. Felt like I had good speed most of the race, and so I just had to go off my gut, get tyres, and hope it stayed green, which luckily for me it did.
Well, that it did, and you're saying that you had good pace. You had some amazing pace out there, especially early on, just pulling out those gaps. You seemed to just have that car in the clean air, and it looked like your long-run pace was just phenomenal.
Yeah, thank you, Carl. The clean air definitely was a key factor, like Jason and Josh and whatnot were talking about how bad it was in the dirty air. The Homestead for me has been really good this year. I've basically won every race I've done, apart from an ANZCAR, so I'm glad to tick that one off and tick that box. Well, hopefully it's a sign of things to come for you, and it's a good
one for championship standings as well. Coming into this race, I think it was 15 points between you and Maddie Ray. Obviously, Maddie Ray finishing down in P11. That's going to help close up that gap a little bit for you.
Yeah, I guess so. Just see how it goes. Bit of a tough race for Josh, though. But once the drop rounds come in, we won't really know where everyone lands. So we'll just try and do as best we can and see where everything ends up.
Yeah, unfortunate to see Joshy out so early. It was a big shame to see him taken out because he looked like he had some relatively good speed as well. But hopefully his luck will swing in the other direction, as is often the case, and well, sometimes the case. It's you have those string of bad lucks, and then things come back to you at the end. So just checking it over, I think there's going to be 3 points between you and Matty Ray now in the championship. So he's got very, very close there up the top.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it? I mean, Matty's had a really good season, so he deserves to be the championship leader. But and I wish all the best for him in these last few races.
No, congratulations, Hamish. Well done again. And before I let you go, the usual thing of shout out and love to all of those sponsors.
Yeah, just well done to Stephen and Lachlan. Just first off, I was watching Steve, my relative, on that long run we had, and he sort of dropped off at the start, and I thought, that was him gone. But no, he started clawing his way back, and I saw he got past Skirley, so I was like, I was starting to get a bit worried. So obviously he was doing something right. So well done, Stephen, and Lachlan played the strategy well as well. So it's cool to see him get a top 3. Shout out to all the Mitch boys. You guys, obviously, Maddie Hunter, for putting this Wednesday night racing on. And I will catch up with you next week. Carl.
We will indeed. Thank you so much, Hamish. We will speak to you again soon, I'm sure. And thank you to all the drivers tonight. What a fantastic race, Stuart.
Yeah, absolutely. Another cracking round in the Thunder Series. It continues to produce quality racing, and tonight was no exception. That finish there between Stevie Dubb and Lockie was fantastic, and of course a close finish there between Jason Martin and Michael Skurlock, as well as Davison and Martin of the Thomas kind. So close finishes throughout the field, but a fantastic race again. So as I mentioned at the top of the show, this is it for us for this week. A short stream with the Cup with the week off before we get into the run home for the chase with 5 rounds to go there. We'll be back on Monday though with the trucks, and next Monday we're at Bristol. So that is going to be a cracker, followed by Oz Pro Am Sim Series. Of course, we're back with the Thunder Series and the Cup, as I mentioned. So do join us. There's plenty of content going up across our channels, and if you can hit the like and subscribe button, we would be very thankful on our quest towards 1,000 subscribers, particularly on YouTube. So if you can jump across there and give that a like. There'll be a highlights package from this race on that channel over the next couple of days. So that is the best place to catch up with us. But Carl, with you, massive thank you to you as always for your participation this week. The channel wouldn't be the same without you. And to everyone who has tuned in to watch, thank you as well. From FGM Cast, your E-Place for Pace. That's the week done for us. Have a great weekend. We will catch you next week.